Hey guys, welcome to Books and BlueStockings. I'm Betty Bookworm and I read way too much into things. So we all know that I love books, and if some of my past videos have been any indication, I love movies as well. And as a bibliophile, I will almost always believe that a book is better than its film adaptation. Almost. I have to admit that some stories and themes work better in a cinematic medium rather than a literary one. I know, it's blasphemy, but just hear me out. Some stories can reach a wider audience through a director's lens rather than a writer's pen. Oh, shut up. Take Princess Bride, for example. Though both the book and the film are enjoyable satires, they are enjoyable in different ways. And between the two, I believe the movie can be enjoyed by a wider audience. What's this? Dear Bookworm, you are wrong. Love, the bald guy. Jonathan Strickland continues to vex me. It's not like I'm saying William Goldman's book isn't great. It is. It's a delightfully irreverent parody of the fantasy genre. When I read it now, it's obvious it was a loving yet biting send-up to writers like J.R.R. Tolkien. But when I read it at 14, it was hard for me to understand why the book was funny. The joke is that the book is actually an abridged version of a verbose narrative by the fictional author S. Morgenstern. And William Goldman uses these parenthetical asides throughout the story. He uses them to explain why he cut out parts of the original texts that were just long passages describing tedious things like ceremonial pageantry and hats. But the humor lies in the fact that the parenthetical asides are just as long as the supposed passages that he cut out. It's a good joke and a hilarious way to poke fun at a beloved genre. But it's not a joke that's understood by everyone. I maintain that every age group can understand that the film is meant to be a satire. I first watched the film at an age where I wasn't even sure I knew what a parody was. But I still knew that the story was supposed to be an exaggeration of the fairy tale genre. At 14, I couldn't grasp what made the book satirical. Now I can, and I can say that it is in fact a great parody. So it's not that the movie is better than the book. It's just that it can be enjoyed by an audience of any age group more so than the book. Now with narratives like Fight Club, it's harder to decide if the movie or the book is better. The story works so well as a book and as a movie. The detail in the book and the cinematography and the casting of the movie both lend itself very well to the transgressive genre. The book is full of character development and seemingly random bits of information that are greatly missed in the film. But the film has wonderful cinematography and an amazing cast that really punch up the story. Pardon the pun. The biggest difference is the ending. The book ends with Project Mayhem's plan failing and the narrator ending up in the hospital. The film ends with the banks and credit card companies blowing up as the narrator and Marla hold hands. Here's a funny fact. Chuck Palahniuk likes many parts of the film better than his own book, including the ending. I have to say, the ending of the book is equal parts suspenseful and endearing, and it just kind of works better for literature. While the ending of the movie works better for film because it's this big, booming, romantic climax. Plus, there's a dick spliced in to the ending scene. It's there. In my opinion, the book and the movie are pretty even. But I can understand why people like the movie more. Now let's talk about practical magic. The movie is better. It's not that the book is bad, it's just that there's not really much emphasis on the story. It's more of a character study. The book follows Sally and Jilly Owens, as well as Sally's daughters Kylie and Antonia, as they explore their own individuality and budding romances. There's not a lot of emphasis on the magical element or the narrative, and to be honest, the ants are barely in the book, and there's not really a lot of sisterly affection. And I kind of feel like that was one of the biggest and best parts of the movie, and honestly, it's just kind of a bummer. But the movie has an intriguing story and familial bonding, folksy magic, romance, humor, tequila, evil spirit possession, and Stockard Channing and Diane Wiest wearing fancy hats and saying cheesy lines. Now, I want to tie this episode in with our month's theme, which is The Room and the Disaster Artist, and I really love the book. I love The Disaster Artist. I really, really think that everybody that loves the crazy phenomena that is The Room and Tommy Wiseau, you're really going to appreciate just how bizarre the story is. And, I also recommend it for anyone who's, I mentioned this earlier in the month. I recommend this for anyone who's trying to break out into the industry. My warning about the book: see the movie first. Just see the movie first. Normally, that's me breaking my own rule. I think you should always try to read the book before you see the movie. I know that's not always possible. I break that rule myself, but it's something that I try to aspire to do. But not this. Watch the movie first. If you read the book and then watch the movie, you are going to be severely disappointed, because there was a lot that James Franco and Seth Rogen could have done with just the bizarre person that is Tommy Wiseau. But it's quite obvious that because they had to work closely with Tommy Wiseau in making the movie, that they painted him in a bit more flattering light than the book does, and you just really lose something. It loses the spark. However, if you see the movie without reading the book first, it is enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. I just think you will appreciate both film and book if you just see the book first. Kind of like an appetizer. Did I just say see the book first? See the movie first. This is what happens when I throw in an unscripted monologue in the middle of a scripted show. But yes, you'll get more out of it if you see the movie before you read the book. The movie can serve as like this kind of appetizer to the main course that is the book. So yeah, I can't say much because it'll be a lot of spoilers, but just take my word for it. So in summation, even if I, as a bookworm, will almost always believe that books are better, I have to give credit where credit's due. If you guys can think of any other film adaptations that are better than the book, let me know in the comment section, because I can't think of any other ones. Again? Dear Bookworm, Jaws. Jaws the movie is better than the book. Love, the bald guy. Is it bad that I never actually read the book Jaws? What's this? Hey, how'd that get in there? Awkward. Plebeian.